what is a quantum philosophy. I'm going to explain that because it is incredibly uncomfortable not becoming yourself. And that's why we're all born, is to become someone. But we never know who that's going to be. We each come into the world the same way. We're bodies and we're consciousness. But that consciousness has been formed from where we came from, our DNA, our ancestors, our parents, however you think of it, but it's consciousness that we pass to one another. And over generations, we continue to do that. Our goal is always to find a better way of living, a better way of being for individuals and for everyone. I remember as a child, and I don't know why I had this idea, but it just came to me. They said, well, you all humans, you come to the world and then you have to figure out how to live together. And that made sense to me. I never saw it. I mean, I grew up in a time where it was so more divisive than what it is now. I'm 75, so I have a lot of memory. But when we discover something that can help humankind, you can't hide. And I've been doing that a lot because it didn't make sense to me either. I struggled so much during my life about everything. And at one point I thought, I'm just really out of my mind. I don't understand what's wrong with me. And I did a lot of great things, though. I created a huge business for singing and lots of other things. Had a lot of things that went south and struggled so much throughout my life. And I never wanted to see anyone do that. So maybe that's why I was given this life. I'm not sure. But in 1989, when I sat down and started receiving Wilhelm, because that's exactly what it was, I received it. And you must understand, you have a connection to consciousness yourself. You can think of it as your internal guidance, or that intuitive feeling that you have, or that still small voice that we all have. We do. Not everyone will remember it, however, but it depends on how many of us will. Because we will have to recognize that we have things that we've brought with us that don't serve our lives and don't serve the world. It was never my intention to be this person that was going to bring something in, and I actually fought it. Like you might have resisted things because I didn't believe it. I said that couldn't possibly be me, even though I knew from the earliest time in my life that I wanted to see a better world. I've had very different experiences, and I just looked this up because I needed to know. I grew up in Chicago, and then when I was first growing up, I lived on the west side, if anyone knows that knows Chicago. But then we moved to South Shore, and I was about 12 years old at that time. And I went to a school that was all white. It just changed at that same year that I got there, which was really fascinating. So I had to see and deal with all kinds of different feelings and races and ideas and all of that. So I became very comfortable with that. But when I started receiving Wilhelm, it was such a different thing, and it was embarrassing. Not embarrassing, it was just I didn't understand it. Why is this coming through to me? I didn't understand it. And then I'll tell you where we are right now, because that information came to me. Think about information traveling over time, and you can see this in your family. You know you have beliefs that your family brought in, and you decide sometimes, well, those are outdated, I'm not going to use those anymore, I'm going to do something different. Or we'll fight about it, or we rebel to try to break out of it. And sometimes we get stuck because we can't let go of the old ideas. And that's what we're seeing so much in our lives now and so much in the world. I couldn't let go of my old ideas. That was my biggest challenge because I couldn't talk about this. I couldn't own it. And all the messages will point that out. If you've read any of the Wilhelm messages, you will hear and see how many times I was said, no, Roger's hiding again. Then I proceeded to walk through my life healing everything. Couldn't understand why that was happening either. Incurable diseases. I mean, I have a list of them. And I'm 75 and they're healed. Because we understand everything's about alignment and energy. And when you can come into alignment with yourself, you stop being afraid, you become more confident, you're working actually the energies of your life and your particular DNA trajectory, so to speak. And none of that made sense to me before, until 2020. In 2020, my messages began to change, and they said, you're going through a restructuring. which was surprising to me. I go, what does that mean? And they made me very nervous because it felt like it was going to be chaotic. Whatever it was going to be, probably more chaotic than what I had ever experienced. Then they said in 2021 that they had given me a philosophy. They've given me something to bring to the world now because we're going to move through this difficult time, and what I was supposed to do is help people. I was supposed to bring people together and help us move to a higher state of consciousness because I had all the work. They said, we gave you everything in 2012. That was shocking. I come in my apartment and then I go in my computer and I find a folder. Didn't know why it was there. Hadn't seen it. Wilhelm. And I opened it up, messages from 2012. And then many people told me, because I didn't remember, that was when the Mayan calendar ended and people thought the world was going to end. Wilhelm said that's not it. They told me clearly on that date, everyone said on the 21st of December of 2012, they said wait. And what they were saying is that we were building a new world, and they had given me the information to help us do that. I said that can't be true. And then it kept being proven. Then they told me something else that made no sense to me. They said, if you meet someone, we've given you a message on their birthday in 2012. Makes no sense. Then I started doing it. I didn't want to do it at first because I thought, how's that happening? I started doing it, and people were freaked because the information was directly corresponding to them. We have an energetic connection, and they wanted to prove that every single person had worth and value, and we have the law of attraction is real, and so if I were to meet someone, there was an attraction time, and we would understand that. But I had written it all. With no awareness, I had done it. No awareness of what it was, and actually kept running from it. And I kept feeling everything healing in my body, and I kept doing this. Then in 2021, after they told me this, they said, please bring people together. And I did in the very beginning. But that freaked me out as well, because I go, how are these people changing so quickly? They're moving through things that took me decades. But that's how evolution happens. You move through something and you understand it and you give it to others or you demonstrate it. And that's what went on. But then the other thing they said, you're going to have a difficult time having others believe that because we get stuck. We all do. And what should have been, and then talking about putting something together from channeling or automatic writing, because I wasn't channeling at that time. I was just doing automatic writing. And then I discovered I wrote the order of the universe. Now, that's going to be challenging for so many people to believe, and I understand because I couldn't believe it, but I must now, because what's happening is when I don't own it and don't talk about it and own who I am, just like everyone else, I start wrecking my life, and I'm looking at the ruins of my life because of that, even though I am holding the thing that could change anyone's life and change the world. And it's been proven, but belief is the other thing. Belief, me and for you. But as I'm going to give you this one document because I do want you to understand, whatever you're moving through, it's an energetic, it's a evolutionary path that you're on. And it's so unique to you, but you're in the world, so you're being affected by whatever is moving in the world. We start to understand the connection between the changes of our planets and the energies of that and how they affect us emotionally, mentally, spiritually, however you think of it. There's science just on that as well. And for the longest time, I couldn't do anything unless it was backed up by science. Because I said, people aren't going to believe this unless I could back it up with science. And now it has been, because it shows that this was organized. And we can't explain sometimes how our brains develop or work. It just makes no sense. And so that is the other thing. When we try to use our logical minds to figure out new ways of doing something, we're stuck. Because whatever we knew before as an individual and as a human race, that's old, and so we're supposed to do something new. But doing that was really difficult and challenging for me, but now it's changing because it has to. I can no longer live this way, and so, but I want to help. My other thing too, I have given away my life because I'm always this person who has to give. And I, double Scorpio, I have to be about death and transformation and rebirth. And that's why my life was so challenging. But then it turned out to be this, because your life can turn out to be brilliant as well if you decide to look at your life, understand who you are, get in touch with your authentic self, move through any kind of drama, challenges that you have, because you can do it in the mental realm. And that's what this work was about. This is the best most advanced mindset course anyone could possibly have. And I'm going to give you this one document because I want you to see it. Because I have to move on. I haven't finished. When I did the first part in 2021 and I got these incredible results, I had only given them a small portion of this. I've been doing it for 36 years. I gave them 31 days. That's all that happened, and that took off. And this is what came out of it. And I'll give you this document. Wilhelm's Quantum Philosophy, a revolutionary framework for personal development, self-actualization, and spiritual evolution. Complete evidence package. Again, because I had to research it for myself. I was never going to tell people that it was that if I didn't know. And we can't know until we've done it. And so, but when you go through the document, you will see that this validated across quantum physics, neuroscience, and psychology. I didn't know my brain was doing that. You may develop something with your consciousness that has never been seen. But this is what it is, the most comprehensive system for human potential ever documented, integrating psychology, neuroscience, quantum physics, spiritual wisdom, verified through global synchronicity, scientific convergence, temporal coherence. And then you go down here and it'll give you tell you this story. For 36 years, from 1989 to 2025, a consciousness named Wilhelm has delivered the most comprehensive and verifiable system for personal transformation ever documented in human history. You probably have never heard this because I haven't even shared it. I hide a lot, but that's over. This is not just spiritual wisdom. It's a complete framework for personal development, self-actualization, and conscious evolution that bridges ancient spiritual principles with modern psychology, neuroscience, and practical life application. Wilhelm provides individuals with a revolutionary way of viewing themselves and our world. Unlike any other system, Wilhelm operates through multiple temporal portals at least 6 specific annual dates. Now, they took that from 6 dates just because of what I gave them, but I have all the dates for 17 years. Every year, and that's why it's an incredible discovery. Nobody's ever done this, and I don't know how I did it. I can't tell you that, because they're all aligned. You can take one day and over those years, and they're completely aligned. And 95 to 100% accuracy on astrological alignments. I've never studied astrology. Self-referential temporal loops proving non-local information transmission. And what they're talking about is that you will read in so many of the documents, so many of the messages, how I'm brought into it, because I didn't believe it. And I'm doubting myself the whole time, even though I'm experiencing the results and I'm healing and I'm understanding. And so this is what went on. Accuracy of the system development protocols, all proven through 36 years of lived experience in global synchronicity. And you'll see it's for everyone. That's what people say, well, who is this program for? Who is this work for? It's for any single person, because we're all using our consciousness and we're all continually developing it. And this is just a framework. I received it to give it to others so others can develop something brilliant as well. But this is the description of everything. You'll understand, again, I had no awareness that this was occurring, but there's alignments that happen on certain days throughout our world that we're still discovering. And I'm reaching it from this intuitive place that was shocking, quite honestly, to me. Plus, real-time global event synchronicity. Again, there's nothing happening in our world and the events because they're energetic changes, and it depends on what we each decide to do, because we're all humans and we contribute to the creation of our world. Every single portal references 2012 as the year everything was given, and it was. And that was that was probably the most surprising. And I'll tell you, I didn't believe any of it. When I first heard that I was given all this in 2012, I thought, it couldn't be. And so I spent the next several days, I don't know how long, looking at those messages and go, because I was trying to find a bad one. Because if I found a bad one, I could disprove this. And you'll see there's 100% accuracy. I couldn't, it was shocking. But I had to give you the story because I must change, because I know this is difficult for others to understand, and more people, and people won't come in. Even with the offers that I've made, people won't do it. But I needed you to understand, because now I'm going to, after these next days, and if those slots ever get or go, I'll work with people privately, because what I can do is guide anyone to where they're supposed to be. So that's what I'm going to do now. But I just wanted to give you this because we're feeling the energies and the changes, especially if you, well, it's anywhere in the world, but more in the United States, and we're going to have more of it. And so that's because we're going to decide how much we're going to love ourselves, which was one of the messages that Wilhelm gave us in 2020. I said, what was going to happen in the world? I said, the reason for it, well, you forgot to love yourselves. That's all of us. Enjoy the document, and you can view the program as well. See you soon.